When the stars met humanity, the Grand Assembly Hall of the Galactic Confederation hummed with activity as representatives from over 500 species gathered for an emergency session. At the center of the massive circular chamber, Elders Orcs, the 12-foot-tall crystalline being who had led the Confederation for 3 centuries, activated the ancient speaking pedestal. Esteemed colleagues, Zorix's melodic voice resonated through the translation fields. Our deep space monitoring stations have detected an anomaly in Sector 7 Gamma. A previously isolated species has achieved faster-than-light travel. Holographic displays appeared throughout the chamber, showing images of a blue-green planet orbiting an unremarkable yellow star. The representatives leaned forward, their varied anatomies, from gelatinous forms to silicon-based crystalline structures, all showing the universal sign of intense interest. This species calls themselves humans, Zorix continued. They have moved from atmospheric flight to rudimentary interstellar travel in less than a century. This acceleration of technological development is unprecedented. From the Science Guild section, Representative Thela, a feathered being with 6 upper limbs, rose gracefully. What do we know of their temperament, their history? Elder Zorix gestured to the pedestal, and the holograms changed to show human history, primitive tribes, ancient civilizations, medieval conflicts, industrial revolutions, world wars, and finally, a unified global society. They are paradoxical, Zorix admitted. Their history shows almost constant internal warfare, yet they've never completely annihilated themselves despite developing nuclear weapons centuries ago. They fight fiercely but show remarkable compassion afterward, often rebuilding their former enemies' societies. Are they a threat? The question came from Representative Krell of the Dravax Empire, a militaristic species that had joined the Confederation relatively recently. All new spacefaring species represent potential disruption, Zorix answered diplomatically. But our preliminary observations suggest humans prioritize diplomatic solutions over conflict. We have already made covert contact with their leadership. Ambassador Lyra, the Confederation's foremost diplomat, stepped forward. Her translucent skin shimmed with bioluminescent patterns as she spoke. I have personally met with their global council. They are eager to join the galactic community. Their first requests were for cultural exchange, art, music, literature, not weapons or tactical information. Murmurs spread through the chamber. A species whose first interstellar interest was culture rather than power was unusual. The Oversight Committee recommends we proceed with formal first contact and integration protocols, Zorix concluded. Ambassador Lyra will continue as our primary representative. The vote was nearly unanimous. Only the Dravax and a few other traditionally cautious species abstained. As the chamber emptied, Representative Krell lingered in the shadows. He activated his secure communication device. Begin detailed surveillance of the human homeworld. He ordered his military intelligence division. I want comprehensive analysis of their defensive capabilities, resource distribution, and leadership structures. Understood, Representative, came the immediate response. Initial reports suggest minimal military space presence. Their vessels appear optimized for exploration rather than combat. Krell's lipless mouth formed what his species considered a smile. Perfect. 5 years passed. The integration of humanity into the Galactic Confederation proceeded smoothly. Human ambassadors established embassies on 17 major worlds. Confederation cultural centers opened on Earth, Mars, and the large human settlement on Europa. Trade agreements flourished. Humans proved to be exceptional diplomats, adaptable, curious, and quick to understand the complex social norms of wildly different species. In her office at the Confederation Embassy on Earth, Ambassador Lyra reviewed reports with Admiral Shenwei, Earth's defense coordinator. The Admiral's uniform was simple but immaculate, black with silver trim, a single row of commendation pins above her left breast pocket. The cultural exchange programs are exceeding all expectations, Lyra said, her skin glowing with pleased blue patterns. Humans seem capable of appreciating even the most alien forms of art and expression. Admiral Shen nodded politely. Yes, we've always been curious about different perspectives. It helps us adapt. I've noticed that adaptability extends to your technological integration as well, Lyra observed. Your engineers have modified our standard FTL designs to work with your materials in ways our scientists hadn't considered. Different approaches to similar problems, the Admiral replied modestly. Nothing revolutionary. A soft chime interrupted their conversation. Admiral Shen checked her communication device, her expression shifting almost imperceptibly before returning to professional neutrality. Is something wrong? Lyra asked, her translator perfectly capturing the subtle changes in human facial expressions. Nothing significant, Shen answered smoothly. A minor border dispute with a Dravax mining operation near Proxima Centauri. They've pushed slightly into our territorial buffer zone. Again. The third time this month, Lyra noted with concern. I'll speak with Representative Krell immediately. Please don't trouble yourself, Admiral Shen said. We filed the appropriate complaints through Confederation channels. We understand that minor frictions are normal during integration periods. Lyra's skin flickered with uncertainty. The Dravax can be difficult. They value strength and tend to test boundaries. If you prefer, I can arrange a formal mediation. We appreciate the offer, but Earth's policy is clear. We follow Confederation protocols and trust in the system. The Admiral's smile was genuine, but somehow didn't reach her eyes. Patience is a human virtue. After all, 3 months later, the incidents had multiplied. Dravax vessels repeatedly violated human space, performed aggressive scan sweeps of human settlements, and accidentally disrupted communication relays. Each time, humans filed complaints. Each time, the Confederation Council urged patience and dialogue. In the Confederation's Central Security Complex, Ambassador Lyra met with Elder Zorix in a private chamber. I'm concerned about the humans, she said without preamble. The Dravax provocations continue to escalate, yet the humans maintain perfect diplomatic composure. Isn't that ideal? Zorix asked. They're demonstrating remarkable restraint and faith in our systems. Too perfect, Lyra insisted. I've studied every species we've encountered. There's always a breaking point, a moment when even the most diplomatic species shows frustration. The humans smile and file reports, while the Dravax practically spit in their faces. Elder Zorix's crystalline form refracted light thoughtfully. What are you suggesting? I accessed their historical archives, Lyra explained. Throughout their history, humans have followed a pattern. They absorb pressure, adapt, show restraint, until a line is crossed. Then they respond with overwhelming, calculated force. Perhaps they've evolved beyond such responses, Zorix suggested. Or perhaps, Lyra countered, we're only seeing what they want us to see. She activated a holographic display. Human civilian ships have been specially reinforced since the first Dravax incident. Their mining operations have increased output by 200%, despite stable trade requirements. Their energy grid has been quietly upgraded with military-grade redundancies. Precautions, Zorix dismissed. Natural for a newly spacefaring species feeling threatened. Maybe, Lyra conceded, but I recommend immediate intervention in the Dravax provocations before. Another chime, more urgent this time, interrupted her. A communication officer appeared on the holographic display. Elder Zorix, we have an emergency situation. A Dravax battle group has attacked the human research station orbiting Europa. Initial reports indicate complete destruction. Estimated casualties, 15,000 civilians. The chamber fell silent. Lyra's skin turned ashen gray. Get me the human ambassador immediately, Zorix commanded, his crystalline form vibrating with distress. We've been trying, Elder, the officer replied. All communication with human systems has gone dark. Their embassies have been evacuated. Every human ship in Confederation space requested emergency departure clearance 6 hours ago. 6 hours before the attack. Lyra whispered. They knew. Representative Krell is demanding immediate audience, the officer continued. He claims this was an unauthorized action by a rogue commander and offers full reparations. Elder Zorix's voice was heavy. Too late. Contact our military liaison. I want every available peacekeeping force mobilized. He turned to Lyra, his crystalline form dimming with concern. You've studied them most closely. What happens now? Lyra's skin pulsed with dark, foreboding colors. Now we discover whether humans fight as they once did, or if they've become something else entirely. On Earth, in the underground command center beneath Geneva, Admiral Shenhui stood before the Global Defense Council. The room was silent as she delivered her report. The Europa research station has been destroyed, she stated, her voice calm and clear. 15,273 lives lost. The attack was unprovoked and directed specifically at civilian infrastructure. President Akachi of the United Earth Government looked at each council member before speaking. For 5 years, we have embraced the ideals of the Confederation. We have followed their rules, respected their customs, and believed in their promise of collective security. She paused, looking at the holographic display showing the debris field that had once been humanity's largest off-world research center. The Confederation has failed that promise, Akachi continued. They knew of the Dravak's provocations. They urged patience while we prepared. Are we ready? Asked the representative from the Asian Alliance. Admiral Shen nodded once. Operation Silent Response was activated the moment our sensors detected the Dravak's battle group approaching Europa. All civilian populations have been moved to hardened shelters. Our fleet is in position. Production facilities have transitioned to military output. And the Dravaks. They believe their surprise attack has stunned us, Admiral Shen replied. Intelligence indicates they're preparing to demand our unconditional surrender to the rightful dominance of the Dravak's empire. Their military forces are concentrated at 5 strategic points. President Akachi looked at each council member. No vote was needed. They had already decided what lines could not be crossed. Proceed with silent response, she ordered. The Confederation had their chance for peace. Now they will understand why humanity spent its history learning how to end wars, not just fight them. Admiral Shen's expression didn't change, but something cold and determined settled in her eyes. Yes, Madam President. The galaxy is about to learn why humans invented the concept of proportional response, and why they sometimes choose to ignore it. When humanity stops playing nice, the Dravak Central Command Center hummed with activity as War Master Krell surveyed holographic displays of the Europa operation. His senior officers stood at attention, mandibles clicking in what passed for pleased expressions among their kind. The humans have gone silent, reported his intelligence officer. No transmissions, no diplomatic protests, no military responses. Their civilian traffic has ceased. It appears they are in shock. Krell's lipless mouth curled. As expected, the Confederation database showed their pattern clearly. They talk, they bargain, they appeal to rules. When confronted with superior force, they surrender. The Confederation Council has summoned you to an emergency session, his diplomatic aide reminded him. They expect an explanation for the Europa attack. Tell them it was a regrettable error, Krell dismissed. A commander exceeding orders. We will offer compensation and expect the humans to accept our generosity. A proximity alarm suddenly blared. The tactical display flashed urgent warnings. War Master. The sensor officer's voice cracked with confusion. Multiple unidentified objects approaching our outer defense perimeter. They appeared from nowhere. No hyperspace signature, no engine emissions. Impossible, Krell snarled, striding to the display. Nothing can bypass our sensor net. The objects on the tactical display were small, barely larger than escape pods. Hundreds of them, surrounding every major Dravak's military installation across 3 star systems simultaneously. They're opening, the sensor officer reported, confusion evident in his voice. Across Dravak space, The mysterious objects unfolded like mechanical flowers. No weapons deployed. No attack commenced. Instead, they simply began broadcasting on all frequencies, audio, visual, and direct neural for species with appropriate implants. Admiral Shenwei's face appeared on every Dravak's communication device. Her expression was calm, her uniform immaculate, as if she were attending a diplomatic function rather than orchestrating an unprecedented military operation. "This is Admiral Shenwei of the United Earth Defense Force," she stated. "Exactly 6 hours ago, Dravak's forces destroyed the Europa Research Station, killing 15,273 civilians. The Dravak's empire has committed an act of war against humanity." Krell's officers looked to him in confusion. This was not shock. This was not surrender. "Scan for their fleet," Krell ordered. "Find their attack force." "Nothing, War Master," his tactical officer replied. "No ships detected anywhere in our space." "On every screen," Admiral Shen continued, "humanity has withdrawn from the Galactic Confederation, effective immediately. We no longer recognize their authority or protection. We speak now directly to the Dravak's empire." The transmission switched to show President Akachi standing before a simple black background. "For 5 years, we have shown you our diplomatic face," she said. "Now you will see what lies beneath. You have exactly 1 standard hour to surrender all individuals responsible for the Europa attack, withdraw all military forces to your homeworld, and prepare for unconditional disarmament." Krell's laugh was harsh. "Emptiest threat in galactic history. They have no forces here. They cannot reach us without passing through multiple detection grids." "War Master," his intelligence officer interrupted, "we're detecting unusual activity in the asteroid belt of the Vekar system. Something is moving the asteroids." In the Confederation Grand Assembly, emergency had turned to chaos. Representatives shouted over one another as reports flowed in from across the galaxy. "Order." Elder Zorix's voice cut through the noise. "We must maintain order if we are to address this crisis." Ambassador Lyra rushed to the central platform. "Elder, I've just received confirmation. The humans have deployed something they call phantom drives. They've had the technology for years, but concealed it from us. Their vessels can travel without creating hyperspace distortions. Invisible ships." A representative asked incredulously. "Not invisible," Lyra clarified. "Undetectable during transit. They appear to have positioned their entire fleet throughout Dravak space before revealing themselves." The holographic displays showed real-time footage from Dravak's colonies. Small human vessels appeared in orbit, deploying what looked like satellites. "What are those devices?" Zorix asked. A military analyst stepped forward. "They appear to be targeted electromagnetic pulse generators, Elder. Sophisticated ones. They're disabling Dravak's technology without harming their biological systems." "They're not killing them," someone observed. "No," Lyra confirmed, her skin pulsing with complex patterns. "They're methodically dismantling the Dravak's military capability while leaving their civilian infrastructure intact." On the largest display, the human president's message continued playing. It was being broadcast across the entire Confederation. "We studied your histories," President Akachi stated. "We learned that in this galaxy, most wars are fought for total victory, for extinction or subjugation. That is not our way. We fight to end wars, not to annihilate our enemies." The assembly watched in stunned silence as human ships systematically neutralized Dravak's military installations across 3 star systems simultaneously. Their precision was unsettling. No civilian casualties, no collateral damage. Just the sudden, complete shutdown of the galaxy's 3rd largest military force. "How?" a Science Guild representative whispered. "They were supposed to be generations behind the Dravaks technologically." Lyra's skin darkened with realization. "They showed us what they wanted us to see. Their diplomatic vessels, their trade ships, their cultural exchanges, all carefully crafted to present an image of technical inferiority. A deception on a galactic scale." Zorix said softly. But why? Because humans learn from their own history, Lyra explained. On their world, showing strength often invited challenge. Showing weakness while quietly building strength was their most successful strategy. In the Human Command Center, Admiral Shen received the reports with calm efficiency. Phase 1 complete, Madam President. All Dravak's military installations neutralized. 0 civilian casualties. Estimated military casualties, 17, all from accidents during evacuation. President Akechi nodded. And the Dravak's response? War Master Krell has refused our terms. He's attempting to activate their hidden fleet in the Vekar system. As expected, the President replied. Proceed with Phase 2. On the tactical display, the asteroid belt in the Vekar system came alive. What had appeared to be natural formations revealed themselves as disguised human installations, manufacturing centers, shipyards, and energy platforms that had been operating undetected for years. Between the asteroids, massive human warships decloaked, their hulls bearing no resemblance to the exploration vessels the Confederation had documented. These were purpose-built combat ships, sleek, menacing, and clearly designed with intimate knowledge of Dravak's weaknesses. How long have these been here? Asked the European Union representative on the Defense Council. Since year 2 of our Confederation membership, Admiral Shen replied matter-of-factly. When the first Dravak ship accidentally violated our space, we began contingency planning. When their second ship scanned our colonies without permission, we accelerated the timeline. By the third incident, these facilities were operational, all while we filed diplomatic protests. President Akechi noted, and built exploration ships for the Confederation to see. On the main screen, War Master Krell's command ship attempted to activate its weapons systems. The energy simply dispersed harmlessly into space. We've isolated their command frequencies, Admiral Shen explained. Every system they activate gives us another access point. Their entire military network is compromised. A communication request flashed on the diplomatic channel. Elder Zorix of the Confederation appeared when President Akechi accepted the call. President Akechi, the Elder began, his crystalline form vibrating with urgency. The Confederation Council formally requests that you cease military operations and allow our peacekeeping forces to resolve this conflict. With respect, Elder, Akechi replied, your peacekeeping forces had 5 years to prevent this conflict. You failed. The Dravaks tested our boundaries, and you counseled patience. They violated our sovereignty, and you suggested dialogue. They murdered 15,000 of our people, and you offered mediation. We did not know. You knew enough. Akechi interrupted. Ambassador Lyra understood what was happening. Her reports were clear. The Council chose to ignore them because humans were too new to understand galactic politics. Elder Zorix's form dimmed slightly. What are your intentions, President Akechi? The galaxy is watching your response. Good, Akechi said firmly. Let them watch carefully. The Dravaks expected us to either collapse or retaliate with indiscriminate violence. We will do neither. We will dismantle their military capability with surgical precision, try their leadership for war crimes under their own legal code, and then help their people rebuild a society that doesn't prey on others. And the Confederation? Zorix asked. We'll need to decide whether its ideals of peace and cooperation are worth actually enforcing, Akechi answered, or merely convenient fictions. In the Dravak's war chamber, Krell watched as his forces were systematically neutralized across 3 star systems. No matter what countermeasures his technicians attempted, the humans were already 3 steps ahead. How? He demanded of his intelligence chief. How did they build all this without detection? They used our own blindness against us. War Master, the officer admitted reluctantly. We monitored their military ships, their official production facilities. But their civilian mining operations, their research outposts, their cultural exchange vessels, we dismissed them as irrelevant. Those facilities in the asteroid belt, Krell realized with dawning horror. They were built by mining ships. Regular civilian mining ships that we let pass because they carried no weapons. And the exploration vessels that visited our systems collected detailed scans of our technology, our defenses, all under the guise of scientific exchange. The tactical display showed human forces methodically surrounding the Dravak's homeworld. Still, no attacks on civilian targets, no planetary bombardment, just precise, overwhelming control of every approach and orbit. A final transmission came through on all channels. Admiral Shenwei appeared again, her expression still eerily calm. War Master Krell, your forces have been neutralized. Your communication networks are under our control. Your homeworld defense grid has been disabled. You have failed to comply with our terms. Krell snarled at the image. If you expect the Dravak's empire to surrender to a species of soft diplomats who only learned to leave their world yesterday, you understand nothing about us. We would rather die fighting. You misunderstand, War Master, Admiral Shen replied. We're not asking you to surrender to diplomats. The diplomats you've been dealing with for 5 years were exactly what they appeared to be, sincere, peaceful representatives of humanity's best ideals. Her image was replaced by footage from Earth's historical archives. World wars, surgical strike operations, urban combat techniques evolved over centuries of human conflict. But beneath our diplomacy, Shen's voice continued over the footage. Humans have spent thousands of years perfecting the art of war. Not conquest, not extermination, but the swift, decisive application of force to end conflicts with minimal suffering. We hoped never to show you this face of humanity. The transmission returned to Admiral Shen, now standing on what was clearly the bridge of a warship. You chose to see our patience as weakness, our diplomacy as fear, our restraint as inability. That was your mistake. The Europa research station contained families, children, who posed no threat to you. In killing them, you crossed the one line humans cannot forgive. The display showed human troops already on the ground throughout the Dravak's capital, moving with practiced efficiency to secure key locations. Your choice now is simple, Shen concluded. Individual surrender of all military personnel, with full legal rights under your own laws, or the complete dismantling of your society as a cohesive political entity. There is no third option. There will be no further negotiation. 3 months later, the Galactic Confederation convened a special assembly. Representatives from all member species attended, including, for the first time since the crisis began, a human delegation. Ambassador Chen took the speaker's platform. Unlike the previous human representatives who had worn Confederation standard diplomatic attire, Chen wore a simple Earth military uniform with minimal insignia. The Dravak's transitional government has been established, he reported. War Master Krell and his senior command have been tried under Dravak's law by Dravak's judges for crimes against their own people and the galaxy at large. Rehabilitation and reconstruction efforts are proceeding ahead of schedule. Elder Orcs stepped forward. And the status of humanity within the Confederation? That remains undetermined, Ambassador Chen replied. Humanity has demonstrated we can defend ourselves without Confederation protection. We have also demonstrated that we abide by principles even in warfare, principles that, frankly, exceed the Confederation's own standards. What would it take for humanity to rejoin us? Lyra asked, her skin rippling with hopeful patterns. Reform, Chen answered simply. The Confederation must become what it claims to be, a body that enforces peace through strength when necessary, not just through words. A system that protects its members from predators like the Dravaks, instead of counseling endless patience while innocents die. The chamber was silent for a long moment before Chen continued. Humans prefer peace. We excel at diplomacy, cultural exchange, and cooperation. But make no mistake, his eyes swept the chamber. The face of humanity you have seen these past 5 years is genuine, but incomplete. We are peaceful by choice, not by nature. We are diplomatic by discipline, not by limitation. He placed a data crystal on the pedestal, and holographic images appeared. Earth's great libraries, universities, hospitals, and concert halls, alongside its military academies, strategic planning centers, and defense industries. Humanity hopes to rejoin a reformed confederation one day as true partners in peace. Until then, we offer this simple truth as both promise and warning. Humans will always extend a hand in friendship first. We will always seek diplomatic solutions. We will always follow rules and honor treaties. But if that hand is slapped away, if diplomacy is rejected, if rules are twisted to allow the strong to prey on the weak, then the galaxy will see why humanity spent its history learning how to end conflicts decisively. As Ambassador Chen left the platform, the assembly erupted in discussion. Species that had viewed humans as quaint newcomers now reassessed everything they thought they knew. Military analysts frantically updated threat assessments. Diplomatic Corps rewrote engagement protocols. In her private chambers, Ambassador Lyra reviewed the day's proceedings with Elder Zorix. They could have destroyed the Dravax completely, Zorix observed. Their surgical precision almost defies belief. That's what makes them so frightening, Lyra replied, her skin pulsing with complex emotions. Most species wage war to destroy enemies. Humans wage war to create peace, on their terms. Will they rejoin us, do you think? Lyra's skin rippled thoughtfully. Yes, but not as the junior partners we assumed they would be. They've proven they can defend themselves without us. Any future relationship will be on equal footing. Perhaps that's for the best, Zorix admitted. The Confederation has grown complacent. Perhaps we needed this reminder. A reminder of what? Lyra asked. That peace is not the absence of strength, the Elder replied, but its most disciplined application. Humans understood that all along. The rest of us forgot. Across the galaxy, the message spread from world to world, species to species, becoming the most important diplomatic principle of the new era. By all means, make friends with humans. Trade with them. Learn from them. Enjoy their art and share yours with them. But never, ever mistake their civility for weakness, because the galaxy has learned the hard way what happens when humans stop being polite.